TV. To know that I'm being joined by two very beautiful people. There is Fina Masanyalaze Mugerwa and also Andrew Kagwa. He's an arts and culture journalist with the Daily Monitor, both of whom join me right now to have a partner discussion on the arts. Now, people in the non-sciences, we are talking about psychologists, sociologists, and also musicians, artists, and so forth, are up in arms because government did not involve them in the spreading of the word on the adherence of standard operating procedures. But that's only part of the story. Now, the artists in the country are saying we've largely been forgotten by the government. But then Fina Mugerwa Masanyalaze is here, and Andrew, to expand more on this conversation, what needs to be done to help people in the arts industry. A very good morning, Fina and Andrew.
Good morning.
Good morning.
All right, so we did see Fina go to the Uganda National Cultural Center to stage a peaceful protest. Yeah. What exactly were you trying to get the government to do for you?
We had very many issues. For example, we were trying to protest about the miscommunication between Allied Ministry and the domains, the entertainment domains. There is a very big gap. We are worlds apart. So we are like asking ourselves, where do we fall? And that comes to a conclusion that we really need the government to give us a ministry, because we need a ministry which can understand us. We need to work with people who can understand us. The way you see sports, you can't put sports in labor. You can't put sports in labor, but it has its own ministry, its own body. They understand each other. They know the pain. They know where to touch. They know what to do for the stakeholders. So that was one of the reasons. And another reason was the stimulus fund. We weren't, since there is no communication, there weren't any update about the stimulus fund. In the previous presidential address, the president was like, he's going to empower those sectors which were affected by COVID-19, and the entertainment industry was the biggest sector which was affected because we are still no longer working. Then another thing was about how to go back to stage. We need to go back to stage, but we need to sit with those people, tell them we already have a document. We've already written some ways how we can go back to stage, how we can do it, how we can follow the SOPs. But still, we have written letters. I've written letters, signed up them. You get a reply, I received it, but there is no reply. So we don't know whether they don't know that the domains are there or not. So the government is totally forgetting the entertainment industry. Right now, we wouldn't have been crying. Artists wouldn't have been suffering due to COVID if they had been engaged in several activities like sensitization. If you can tell me that you're sensitizing about something, any cause in a country, how dare you cannot use a musician? Music is the fastest communicator. By the time you organize your conferences, your what, music was already there at the border. So I wish to request the government to work with the entertainment industry to sensitize about COVID. And we are ready to work with you. But then, please decrease the gap between the art fraternity and the government. And another thing, artists wouldn't have been suffering and becoming beggars in their own country. For example, there is UPRS. Yes, we shouted that there is a bad administration. It was scrapped off. So we got caretakers. They were they got the thing for about one year and some time. So up to this time, we haven't got any update about when are you distributing the loyalties again, because UTVs you're paying, aren't you paying? You're paying. So we need to know when are you distributing the loyalties again, and what are the criteria which are supposed to be followed for artists to get their money, because their music is played.
Indeed. I was talking to some beautiful people from the Uganda Performing Rights Society, and they were telling me Google gives us over $100 million in that regard. And this person was telling me, why don't we always use that money to help artists who are grappling during this COVID-19 pandemic? Because he even mentioned that off air. He didn't want to mention it on air, that there is money coming in from Google. But then, Andrew Kagwa, speaking about COVID-19 and whether or not artists should have been used to spread the word on the same, do you think there is some kind of inferiority complex coming in from government officials towards the people in the non-sciences?
Well, truth is, it even hurts me very much when people talk about this sector as entertainment. Like I saw that in Museveni's manifesto in 2016. I've not been so lucky to see his manifesto right now.
Securing your future,
But,
you haven't?
they talked about it as entertainment, which sucks, if I should say. One, this is not an entertainment industry. This is arts and culture, and there is more to arts and culture than just entertainment. There is edutainment, there is information. So it usually hurts me when I see him on TV and he says the entertainment industry. Like, there is much more to this industry. But without using artists to sensitize, the very first thing you need to do is to get policies that actually work for the industry. Like, at the moment, there are no policies that are going to help the industry. Many of the policies people keep coming up with are actually only killing the industry. Like, you remember, I think we were here talking about the regulations UCC was trying to bring out. Like, most of the times when I see regulations come up, the first thing I want to know is, how is the industry benefiting directly? Say you're going to ask, say, TVs to pay an extra 1,000 every time they play a foreign song. I need to know, how is this money coming back into the local industry? So at the moment, even if they had used artists to sensitize about COVID, this money would have gone into just a few hands, because you cannot use the entire industry. Yet when you have a policy that actually works for the industry, everyone benefits. Right now, the problem with UPRS is they've not been empowered enough to widen their basket. Like, I remember the last time I was talking about UPRS with someone, I told them we have a chance of making money off blank tapes, and those could be flash discs that get into this country, mobile phones, because all these things can carry local music, and all these things can own music. If we find a way of having a special tax on them, and that tax actually goes to the artists, you will not find artists having a problem with distributing the little monies that come from UPRS. Like, you will be widening the field where they can collect the money.
But according to many of the experts, they believe people in the nonsense, people in the arts industry have been largely forgotten. If you go to Makerere University, most of the sponsorship schemes are given to the people in the sciences, and the psychologists are left out, the economists are left out, people in the arts, music, culture, music, dance, and drama are also being left out. If you go to the government coffers, government has a policy that allows people in the sciences to be paid more than their counterparts in the non-sciences. So such issues, and
there are two explanations.
Such issues are actually leading to that kind of discriminatory attitude that we are seeing. Andrew?
There are two explanations for that. One, they're afraid of the arts because they know what the arts can do. One, arts is not really, much as people study and become professionals in this, art is the way of life. Like, whether you want it or not, whether you do not understand English or you do, somehow you fall in love with a song. You fall in love with a film, you fall in love with theater. So art is the way of life, and because of that, art empowers very many people. There are many governments world over, it's not just Uganda, where they directly neglect the arts because they know what the arts can do. Like, I mean, if Ugandan arts have been neglected like this, but they've created millionaires, they've created very influential people, and right now they've given you a Chagulanyi. Like, that says something. Just imagine if they were empowered. So I do not want to say it, but I think it's true. The Ugandan government is directly and deliberately neglecting the arts. Because when this government came in, we had a flourishing art industry, and this is not just music. We were doing well when it came to visual art. That's painters and everything.
Are you trying to tell me we were doing better during the Amin Ondobote regimes when it comes to music?
Do you actually know who gave us Normal Gallery? Like, Mama Miri Obote.
I see.
Gave the visual artists Normal Gallery.
Are you still there?
Yeah, Normal Gallery is still there.
Go ahead.
Personally, I'm not an artist, I'm a journalist.
Okay.
So what I'm trying to say is most people at times just try to stray for the arts because they know the power this can do. Everyone can somehow interpret art, which is not the same thing with economics.
Speaking of Chagulanyi, he's the musician in this presidential race, and I had a very respectable government official from the NRM who said someone who did music, dance, and drama cannot be entrusted with the mantles of the leadership. Someone like that, like Chagulan, you could not be entrusted with the presidency simply because he did music, dance, and drama. The same official went on to say that he didn't understand why someone could do psychology at the university and not do a diploma in the sciences. Couldn't that be a direct confirmation that there is bias within this government? Fina Mugero.
It is not, it might be bias, but the most common problem, most of the people think that musicians didn't go to school. They are hooligans, they are useless, they are hopeless. We are not hopeless. We are very important people.
And could that be the reason why you're still under lockdown?
I think so. I think so. They don't always think that we are very important people, and we add on much to the taxi. Actually, they would have consulted us when they're doing budgets because we put in so much. We have a big input when it comes to the budget. They would have considered us very, very much.
Actually, it's so true. Art adds a lot to the tax. The only problem I have with artists is that they cannot present these facts. I remember there is a conversation I had with someone and I was telling them we need the numbers. Like if art in this country starts talking with the numbers, maybe things are going to change. And by numbers, I mean you tell me that art adds a lot to this sector and you actually tell me the numbers. Personally, I can get some numbers off head. Like I know when Jose Chameleone has a concert, it's a full ecosystem of someone who did the banners, someone who did the advert, the tons of people selling chicken around. Like I can come up with that rough number of employment opportunities created just because one Jose Chameleone has a concert. But most of the times our artists are not giving us these numbers. Like we need to map this industry in a way that will make these people actually understand we contribute to the market. At the moment, we are not doing it, and it's not just musicians. Visual artists, like I can tell you, people come into this country to attend exhibitions. Like someone flies in to attend an art exhibition, they buy art, and they leave the country. That's cultural tourism, and they are leaving money here. But you will never see galleries actually declare how much money they made in a specific period of time. And because of that, you cannot convince a government that we are contributing this much to this industry when you do not have the numbers, which I think is still the reason why we do not have a clear stimulus package for art.
Indeed.
Because there was that whole thing like, yeah, let's give them 2 billion, let's give them 6. Like they were not so sure. And the reason they were not so sure is because they could not be sure if this could be enough in regards to the contribution art is bringing or art is putting on the market.
But even what we think was not so sure is not there. Because when we recently, when we went to the PS regarding stimulus, he was like, he doesn't have any penny. He doesn't have any penny. He wasn't given any penny for the cultural industry. So he was like, we give him 2 weeks. Will be with the answer after interacting with the finance. Why should we always be the last people? Why should we always be the last? By the way, we are so bitter. We are not happy.
Indeed.
We are
not
happy. Yeah, we're not happy. Very many people you can see they didn't come up. You know the way we live. You can't say a celebrity he can't come up like start
all
shouting.
The banner and so
forth.
As
a leader, I had to come out and represent their pain on the heart. They are not happy. And when it comes to the infrastructure, we are under the Ministry of Gender. But I can tell you, it doesn't provide us with any office. I can tell you, Uma has been locked at National Theatre on several occasions. And up to this time, we haven't paid rent. But at least we pray that we should be considered. We are now structured under a National Culture Forum. They should know that we are organized. Actually, most of them, even you journalists, you always tell us, always tell people, you draw up a picture. You show people that the fraternity is not organized, that we are disorganized. We have a National Culture Forum now.
We do not show a picture. Actually, the funny thing is that artists show us the picture. Like most of the times, something will happen and you will call an artist for a comment. And you will ask them, okay, according to the National Culture Forum, and they will tell you, excuse me, I'm not part of that, I'm not party to that. And then you're like, okay, so you mean you do not know what it means? And you're like, yeah, I know what it means, but that's something for some people to make money. Like these are things we actually hear from artists. The big players, in the market?
For that one, I can answer. When it comes to art, most of the celebrities, if it is a man, he's a king in his own kingdom. And if it is a female, she's a queen in her own kingdom.
I see.
But when the government considers the National Cultural Forum, which has been formed by the Ministry of Gender, if it happens to start working with it, everyone will know where to fall.
All right, let's talk about COVID-19, Fina and Andrew. We are now kept at 32,399 cases. And according to so many of the experts, they say government has failed in stemming COVID-19 community transmissions. They've failed in that battle. But then, do you believe the situation could have been any different if people in the arts, people in the non-sciences had been involved in the whole spreading of the word on the adherence of standard operating procedures? Andrew?
Definitely, yes. I felt very hurt when someone from the ministry came up to pen a letter asking, I think, UCC to ban Tumbiza Sound.
The song?
Yeah, the song. One, that showed me this, the people we are dealing with, the government, the people that are leading us, do not actually understand how people consume art. One, instead of retracting that song, one, you're trying to retract it and you're making it more famous, because I was checking on Google Analytics and it had a surge of about 200,000.
And it's been a while it's been around for a while.
Yes.
A few days.
So, but just the few days where this whole thing happened, it had a surge in numbers. People started watching it more. Like, instead of trying to ban this song, yet people can actually get it on YouTube and watch it. Try to engage the artist, do a remix for it. One, there are things he talks about in the song that are actually right. He says we shall sanitize, we shall wear face masks. So try to jump on few of those things and change a bit of the message, make a better video, probably throw another artist on the video, and you get a song that's spreading a message in the quickest way possible. But do you think
government was adamant to reach out to you people in the arts simply because we have a musician and arts culture a person like Robert Chagulanyi in this presidential race?
That's non... Okay, it's yes and no, but why I say no is because behind every poet...
Because if you're going to say Robert Chagulanyi shouldn't be doing any music and then you allow some other artists to do the same in the name of COVID-19, I think that's what they were looking at. Because they had already frustrated Robert Chagulanyi on many of his concerts.
Yes.
Now you're the same person coming in and saying we need the artists to help us spread the word using music.
It was a different...
it could have happened with one... One thing I know is behind every poet in the opposition, there is a louder poet in the government.
Indeed.
In this case, one, you had your Bebe Cool, who was on their side. But I think one of the reasons they did not think about it is them not still underestimating the power of art. Truth is, when it comes to the whole Robert Chagulanyi thing, I feel like no one even spread the message about COVID-19 more than him. Because, I mean, his song was quite basic and very direct. But the only reason why they didn't reach out to artists is because they do not understand the power of this thing.
Actually, on that point, I tried to reach out to UCC. I wrote to them as a Secretary General, showing them how we can work together as a team with the art and culture industry regarding sensitization. My dear, I moved up and down. Those people tossed me up. So it is just, I don't know how to term it. It's
maybe since they're not responding to your literature that you're writing to them, help us break down some of the needs of the artists right now on the air. Break down the needs of the artists because they're watching.
The needs of the artists. First and foremost, we need communication. If you say that Ministry of Gender is the one, if it is our line ministry, we need communication. Let's not be world apart. You know, you can be like, they are planning for me. You can put on your suit, you look good and you look yourself inside. I want to know that you're smart. So let them move out of that room. Let them move out of that room. And sometimes let them move out of the office. Not everything is done in office. Not everything is done in office. Try to move out. Stretch your legs. Stretch your efforts. so that we get together as a team. Let's communicate together and do the needful. Then another thing, we need infrastructures. When it comes to those domains which make up a national culture forum, we need offices. We need offices for the artists, the visual artists, the dancers, all the 25 domains. There we will know. You are fathers. You are fathers. Please take good care of us. Otherwise, we are not contented. We are not contented. Then for the government, it has tried to engage the fraternity into the presidential initiative of Emyoga. We appreciate so much. Though each domain is supposed to receive 30 millions. Each domain is supposed to receive 30 millions in your circle. That for the artist, woman, one circle, 30M. That is good. And it also teaches the artists how to save, because in reality, artists don't want to save because they're like fishermen. They think every day is going to be a Sunday. They don't think that tomorrow can be a day which is bad. So we are trying to teach them how to save. So this is a cry to all artists. Please come and join the Woman Circle. It is the only circle which has been considered. But then for the 30 millions, it's not for distributing. This money is not for distributing. It is just empowering your circle. So we will keep on lobbying for more money. But then we humbly request the government to look into this industry. Otherwise, it is bleeding. It is bleeding. People are not happy. Yeah, they've forgotten us so much.
I think one of the things I would say is like, this is the camera.
Yes, please go ahead.
Like one. For one time, artists need to be human. One of the reasons why, first I will tell you that music is the most consumed art in this country. But the reason why our artists are complaining about an injustice and no one is listening is because our artists have forgotten that they have to be human. By saying that they have to be human is, artists need to come out when an injustice is done, because art is a voice. Like, we were pleading with artists to come out and just tweet, "Stop police brutality." We were not even asking them to be political. We were just tweet, "Stop police brutality," and artists were playing so hard. Like, but even when it comes to them not performing, you and I know one artist has not been able to perform for 2 years. And you tell artists, come on, one of yours is not performing. This is an attack on the industry. And artists are like, we are not political. Me, I want to be out of politics. And when this happened, the reason why the people that are listening to their music are not coming out is because they are looking at them and they're like, yeah, we are also non-musicians. We've been telling you about these things and you've been like, we are not political. So now that it's happening to you, when people are saying, now that it's happening to you, you can see an injustice can happen. And
because they kept quiet after the November 18th, 19th protests.
They always kept quiet. Like, no one...
But then we also saw the same people, Andrew, come out when Omale was arrested last week to say, "Free Omale."
Because...
and then people are like, where were you when we were saying, "Stop police brutality"?
Yeah, and you know, they all... You see, yes. I still remember how many of artists jumped onto the Omale thing. One, they come into attack, like, how can a Nigerian perform in this country? They did not think it was going to go that bad. And then they get arrested. And now they notice, like, okay, now this is a bad thing. And one of the reasons why they saw it's a bad thing is not because they were afraid of the image, Uganda and everything. One of the reasons they were afraid this is going to be bad is because they were afraid they might not get a chance to collaborate with the Nigerian again. They might not get a chance to win an award in Nigeria. Like, many of the reasons. Many of the reasons were very selfish.
Did you interview any artist and he or she was giving you such reasons?
At least I know one who put up a tweet.
Only one?
Of, "This is unfair." No. Okay, when it comes to that, there were many. But one put up a tweet, "This is unfair," and then pulled it out immediately. And that's what many of them were saying. And you would call them and some will tell you, but Andrew, see, we need Nigeria a bit. And you're thinking, like, wait, what? Like, So this is the reason
they need Nigeria. They don't need to rally behind Ugandans who are calling for the government to stop the brutality.
No, I think they thought the other one was political. They thought it was political. Yeah.
But Andrew Kagwa, now moving forward, the artists met the government officials on Monday and they gave them a 2-week ultimatum as they iron things out. Yeah. What can the artists do in the meantime to keep or stay afloat as recommendations or resolutions are being drawn?
Like one, the people that are leading the artists just need to know that art doesn't happen in a vacuum. Art happens in the open. Art happens with life. Art should have, by now, art should have opened up itself because it is legal for it to open up. Like one, if a church is happening, and some churches are happening in places where art happens, those people are in there. How many are allowed to be in a church now?
70 plus.
70 plus. There is a band performing for them. There is a pastor. Like now I'm breaking this down for you if it was an art space. If it was an art space, the pastor could be a stand-up comedian alone on the stage, and usually there is a band performing. In a comedy show, unfortunately, people are not singing, but in a church, they are singing, which means there are even more chances of them spreading the disease among each other. Like you can use such a reasoning to open without asking anyone, because and even without going that far, some of the places where art happens from, say, Theatre La Bonita, Bat Valley, these places host churches every Sunday. So if you can tell me why La Bonita can be a church, and then people can't come in to sit there for a show, then I will not put my issue around. But as far as things are happening right now, some organized art places should be able to open themselves. That's, for example, theaters. If cinemas are operating, you can't tell me National Theatre can't be showing movies, yet it used to show movies.
Yeah, the PS promised us a reply, and we are waiting in 2 weeks' time.
Like, I don't think a reply should be waited for. Art should be able to reason with the way life is moving.
Instantaneously. Andrew Kagwa and Fina Mugerwa, we are still having this very pertinent conversation on the people in the arts who seem to have been forgotten. Let's take a breather. We'll be right back with the same conversations this time around. I want resolutions from Fina Mugerwa.
You're watching Morning at NTV.
It's a brand new day, yeah. Let your beauty show as your hair glows. With Radiant, everything comes to life when you arrive. And should you ever look back, let it be to gaze upon your radiant day. Rise up, African queen, fix your crown, yeah. Rise up, African queen, fix your crown, yeah. Radiant, look good, feel great.
Amanya gange Senkubuge Aisha. Lunaku lumu nava ewaka nga nina amagulu abiri okuddamu okutegeera nga nina kumu. Naye ng'ekyo kiva ku badriver abavuga emmotoka ennene abatafaayo. Ensobi gye nalaba driver eyantomera gye yakola nakikakasa nti emmotoka gye yali avuga yali tesiba. Badriver mukimanyi nti emmotoka ennene tezisibirawo, ogisiba n'esigala ng'ekyagenda mu maaso. Kakasa nti emmotoka gy'ovuga esaanidde okubeera ku luguudo. Kebera esiba bulungi, etambula bulungi, buli kimu mwekiri ekigikkiriza okubeera ku kkubo. Nkakasa singa buli omu afaayo ku kidduka kinakyekinga bulungi nga tekinnabaawo kusobola okukendeeza obubenje obususse ku makubo gaffe.
This message was brought to you by NTV Uganda.
The ITEL P36 series, A35, A56, A56 Pro and P15 at any ITEL mobile branded outlet. This festive season for big battery, good quality, trendy and price-friendly smartphones, and get a gift, of course. ITEL Mobile. Enjoy better life.
Merry Christmas and a prosperous New Year from the management and staff of NTV Uganda.
This is NTV.
Merry Christmas and a prosperous New Year from the management and staff of NTV Uganda.
This is NTV.
Back in 2018, he prophetically foresaw a mysterious year, 2020.
He started to show me certain things that would happen. And he started to show me especially the year 2020. I saw secrets of the governments of this world. And I saw them in unison, working hand in hand, behind the scenes, trying to bring about things. And the year 2020 was marked out when they want all things in control.
Step into the future by tapping into the true spirit of prophecy as you watch the prophecies that shape the year 2020.
It's been said that a week in politics is a lifetime. Could the opposition upset the apple cart, or could the predictable pattern continue as the NRM takes lock, stock, and barrel of the 2021 presidential and parliamentary polls?
Could this election be based on issues, or will it pander towards sowing seeds of fear, ethnic jingoism, and nitpicking? Can the scientific polls be the touchstone of a free and fair election?
Our unrivaled cross-platform coverage will help audiences discern spin and fact-check statements and numbers.
We shall assess what this means for the farmer, the businessman, the investor, and the youngsters who believe that the ballot is their beacon of hope.
And for the candidates ready to lace their boots and ascend to the greasy pole, we promise to provide a level platform to each aspirant to sell their message across the audiences.
We promise to be here on the thrilling frantic night when vote tally commences, and our fidelity to the truth will be incontrovertible.
Decision 2021, reaching every pocket of the country to bring you the general election coverage with depth and nuance.
NTV, turning on your world.
You're watching Morning at NTV.
Welcome back. I still have Fina Mugerwa and Andrew Kagwa. We are talking about the plight of musicians and other artists during the wake of the COVID-19 pandemic. Fina Mugerwa is going to be giving us a few resolutions on what artists need to be doing this time and when government draws a solution in 2 weeks' time. And also, have the artists exhausted the use of the internet during this time? Kagwa will respond to that. And we also know that promoters got some money and not the artists. Fina Mugerwa. How can a promoter get money and the artist doesn't?
We're also wondering because that money was meant for the stakeholders. But then I think it came along because of the unity. There was unity among promoters. But
okay, so what do the artists need to do now?
So the best advice I give to artists, we should be one for a common voice. You are strength. If I'm your general secretary, if I tell you let's move this way, please stand up, because you can't work alone. Today you can be shining, next time you're not going to be shining. So let us work for these people who are coming from the bottom, the young artists. Let us protect them. Maybe time to come they will benefit from this thing. Otherwise,
in the interest of time, then you also engage Andrew Kagwa. Do you feel like the internet has been exhausted fully during this time by the artists?
One of the things I think I'll first say is that artists need to notice that their government doesn't care about art. Like, if that sinks in, things will be better. When there is this whole thing, the internet, that's there to be exploited. Like in a time like now where many of them are not performing, they can as well be content creators. They they need to be uploading their music. Like we have all these streaming channels where people can actually put their music.
So as we wait for the government, they could use the internet.
They could use the internet, but they have to put in the time to at least promote this.
All right,
music.
thank you very much. Andrew Kagwa, an arts and culture journalist with the Daily Monitor, and Fina Mugerwaya, thank you very much for having made the time to speak to us. And of course, it's been another successful year for the #1 breakfast show in the country, that is Morning at NTV. That's my studio director, Emma Teko, with whom we've been doing a lot right here on the show. He's not the only studio director that I do have. It's his birthday today, but Daniel Echwaru is also working today. That is Mr. Teko Emmanuel. Many thanks for the great work you present to the show. And that is also Albla Eve. She is the CEO, Black Abba, right there. Happy birthday to you, and continue shining in that regard. And it's also another birthday for the Morning at NTV crew. Yes, the whole show. Yes, it's been another successful year of Morning at NTV, and we do have a huge cake. Yes, might not the color. I believe Christmas is red. This has nothing to do with...
It would have been white.
It is not political. So Fina Mugerwa is going to do us the honors of cutting this cake, marking another successful year of Morning at NTV. Please come closer, Andrew Kagwa.
I'm even salivating.
Kulubazi, where are you? My camera person. Okay. All right. 3, 2. Okay. We hop up.
Never.
All right. You've never really.
I'm about to cut it.
No. The same way you do it. All right. Let's go. 3, 2, 1. Happy birthday, Morning at NTV.
Happy birthday.